Yeah, they're all.
Now we've been trying to get people back quickly, but are they going to go to university? That's the plan.
I hope so. They're only 12 and 10.
Oh, they're only 12 and 10.
Yeah,
but they're doing well at school.
Yeah, very good.
A good family.
Yeah,
good to see you.
And the education system in Rochdale, I will congratulate it.
Good. And it's very nice to see you. Take care.
Yeah.
Thanks, Gordon.
Thanks very much. Thanks. Take care.
Thanks very much.
Okay.
Look after you.
Good to see you all. Okay. Good to see you. Thanks very much. That was a disaster. Well, just... Okay. Should never have put me up with that woman. Whose idea was that?
I don't know, I didn't see it.
It's Sue, I think. They're just ridiculous.
I'm not sure they'll go with that one.
They will go with it.
What did she say?
Everything. She's just a sort of bigoted woman. Said she used to be Labour. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I don't know why it's stupid. They're up to work.
Tax being paid on pensions and about the national debt.
Now, you've just watched that. You've heard the Prime Minister's words in the Sky News truck. What is your instant reaction to that? I mean,
Very upsetting. I'm very upset.
Did you expect that from him?
No.
You're a lifelong
He's an educated person. Why has he come out with words like that? He's going to lead this country, and he's calling an ordinary woman who's just come up and asked him questions what most people had asked him. They're not doing anything about the national debt. It's going to be a tax for another 20 years to get out of this national debt. And he's calling me a bigot.
You told me that you were a lifelong Labour supporter.
Yes, I am.
And you have a postal vote ready to go in. Will you be sending that?
No.
Now, you also told me earlier that you said, when we asked, will he stay number 10, you said, hopefully he will.
Yeah, well, I'm not bothered whether he does or not now. I don't think he will.
Do you think he should meet more voters like you?
I'm sure he should go out into the public and find out what's going on with our lives.
Do you think he understands enough about what's going on at the moment out here?
They're that much locked up there.
I think you're still live on television at the moment, but you can talk to two audiences at once if you like. Mrs. Duffy obviously taking a call. Perhaps somebody's seen her on television at the moment.
Mrs. Duffy. Is that someone calling you to let you know you're live on Sky News?
No, Lucy or something.
And on BBC television
and on other channels as well. Let's just, if we can, just for 2 minutes, just talk about why you were here in the first place. And the Prime Minister's been at great pains this week to try and get out and speak to real people.
Why has he come here to this place? Why didn't he go into Rochdale, where a lot of people could have spoke to him in the town centre? Why is he here?
And you were just passing?
Is that what you say?
Well, I should think so. Nobody knew he was here, did they?
You just luckily ran into him?
I was walking up the street and the police had the road cordoned off. So then I saw, and I just asked the policeman, I said, is Gordon Brown here? And he says, yes, up there. So I came up and I thought, well, I'll ask him, what is he going to do about the national debt?
And when he responded to you, I mean, before he got in the car and he said what he said, I mean, what was your reaction to the way in which he had dealt with your complaints?
Well, I thought he was understanding, but he wasn't, was he? Where he's come out with the comments in the
Are you
in the
shocked
car.
about his car? What do you think of his character before this event? He's always said he's a moral compass.
I only met him for 2 minutes, didn't I? 3 minutes, 4 minutes was that interview.
Sorry.
His character on TV, well, he hadn't really enthralled me with his speeches. But
why do you think?
I like Blair. I like Tony Blair.
Why do you think Gordon Brown said what he said?
I don't know. You tell me.
I mean,
you saw me talk.
Is that what you expect of a politician?
No.
Of a Prime Minister?
No, I don't.
I mean, before today, what was your view of Gordon Brown as a man, as a politician, and as a politician?
I can't tell you as a man. As a politician, when he was Chancellor, he did very good things for the country. But now it's just all gone to pot, everything. And you've got to sort it out, else we'll be playing. Your grandchildren, your children will be paying for all this.
I think, Mrs. Duffy, we can just hear again exactly what he said now. I think we can now listen to what the Prime Minister said about you once he'd stopped talking to you.
And clearly this was...
Hopefully we'll hear that now.
Clearly this was something that you yourself are going to take into the voting booth. Clearly this is something that's going to shape your view of the Labour Party as a whole. I mean, if you had the opportunity to speak to Gordon Brown now, what would you say to him?
I don't think I'd like to speak to him. I'll tell you that now. I don't think I'd like to speak to him at all.
Do you want an apology from Gordon Brown?
Well, do you think I need an apology of him?
I think that's for you to say.
Well, I think so, yeah. He's not...
Okay, well, we just listened to Gordon
I
Brown. Sorry, you couldn't hear him again, but he was saying
So
that
just-
it was a
do you-
disaster. Whose idea was it? I think there's some colleagues here are saying as well, do you think Gordon Brown should now apologise to you?
Yes, I think so.
Would you like a personal apology from the Prime
No,
Minister?
not personal. I don't want to
Would you like him to write to you?
I don't want to speak to him again, really. Just give an apology. I want to know why, them comments I said there, why I was called a bigot. That's all I have to say.
Well,
That's
one
the Julie-
angry voter after a meeting with the Prime Minister there in Rochdale. Gillian Duffy said she was walking by. There's a little woodland area there that was being cleared by some people on a community payback scheme, and she was passing by and got to put a question to the Prime Minister, had an exchange with him, and then the Prime Minister made some unguarded comments when he got back into his car about what he thought of that exchange with Mrs. Duffy, and Neil Patterson was there asking the questions, as you see, and she's very upset. She wants an apology. Just remind us, though, or should we remind ourselves of what the Prime Minister said after he spoke to her and got into his car with his microphone still live?
A good family.
Yeah,
Good to see you.
and the education system in Rochdale, I will congratulate it.
Good. And it's very nice to see you. Take care.
Thanks, Gordon.
Thanks very much. Thanks. Take care.
Thanks very much.
Okay.
Look after yourself.
Good to see you all. Good to see you. Thanks very much. That was a disaster. Well, just... Okay. Should never have put me with that woman. Whose idea was that?
I don't know, I didn't see it.
That's Sue, I think. They're just ridiculous.
I'm not sure if they'll go with that one.
They will go in.
What did she say?
Ugh, everything. She's just a sort of bigoted woman. Said she used to be Labour. I mean, it's ridiculous.
As the Prime Minister departing in his car there, well, let's talk to Neil Patterson again. They're talking to Mrs. Duffy, and I suppose one of the interesting things there, Neil, is that Mrs. Duffy said she was quite happy after her exchange with Mr. Brown and some of the issues she put to him and his response. It's only when she heard what he had to say in private moments there in his car that she's got pretty upset and angry about it and wants an apology.
Yeah, I mean, I think upset is actually an understatement, to be fair, Dermot. I mean, Mrs. Duffy was sitting in Sky's satellite truck, watching and listening to the Prime Minister's words, and when he used that word bigot, I mean, her face completely fell. She really does not understand why the Prime Minister would use a word such as that, and as you say, she does now feel that she deserves an apology, certainly not from directly from the man himself. I think that was clear from the tone of her comments to Sky News just a few minutes ago. But clearly, of course, the Prime Minister was attempting to engage with the public in a way in which many people have criticised the Labour Party and Gordon Brown in particular for not doing so this campaign. The exchange which took place, which went on for I think a good 6-7 minutes, this was not a quick couple of questions with the Prime Minister. Mrs. Duffy really did have rather longer than most broadcast journalists have had with the Prime Minister during this campaign to put her complaints to him, and on each of those he gave a measured response. And when Mrs. Duffy was walking away after the Prime Minister had departed, I said, well, you know, what is your reaction to that? How do you feel that he dealt with your individual complaints? And she said, pretty well. All of that good work, of course, undone by a few unguarded comments because the Prime Minister forgot that there was a microphone on, a microphone which, again, we should say, was placed on the Prime Minister's lapel at the Labour Party's request.
OK, Neil, for the time being, thank you very much indeed.